loving, tuning in, and attending well-being. And that's kind of the essence of inner growth in a nutshell, but they're detailed. Um, so in
That,
adult life, and mostly at a center in England, something they called natural spiritual healing. I went there 4 years in a row. I learned meditation from them and intuitive ways of coaching people. But I didn't go back. And so I did take some Reiki courses, Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and eventually Reiki Mastership. But I was meditating, Raja Yoga meditation, and I started having these mystical experiences. And through one of the mystical experiences, I learned a way of energy healing that works with higher beings and brings through more healing rays of energy. Now, no healer is the source of the energy. We're just the vessel. So we can't take credit for it. But
that's right.
I'm delighted with this role. It's amazing.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Richardson. And that this is also what we find here, right? And are unsure of what to do. How do you help them?
Well, I call it the intuitive higher guidance, first of all, and help people understand who we really are, who they really are as a soul on a journey in this lifetime and having multiple lifetimes, and what that looks like in terms of our inner wholeness.
Yeah.
Because our souls don't have genders. And in the tradition which I've been intuitively guided to, we discover, and it's kind of like Taoism with the yin and the yang, but there's more to it in the chakra system. We have our feminine sacred energy virtues and we have our masculine sacred energy virtues. And we all have that. Whatever our gender or gender identity is, we need that harmony and balance of the sacred feminine and sacred masculine. And I was intuitively guided to use that term energy virtues.
Mm,
Um, it's because the energy itself can be virtuous or can be fear-based and lose its virtue. If
mm.
it's love-based, it can be virtue. If it's fear-based, it's not, it's gonna be harmful rather than virtuous. So we all need to cultivate those through the chakra system until we attain higher consciousness. But a simpler way of looking at inner greatness is it's not what we're seeking in the outer world. To to experience our fullness, we're no longer going to seek our answers out there. It's no longer going to be about the typical societal issues of um, it's not directly seeking first and foremost the finances and the achievements and the career. Those can come after we seek who we truly are within. The more we know who we truly are within and energize that greatness, and again, there are masculine and feminine forms of that I can go over, the more the outer reflects the inner. That's an ancient cosmological principle around.
Us in this world today that so we live in this world that measures success from us in this world today that so we live in this world that measures success from our material gains and our and sort of how much power we have over others. Um, what is this? How does this idea of virtues and inner greatness fit in with our world? Inner greatness fit in with our world.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you for reminding me of the outer greatness that others are seeking currently across our society. Um, and substitute teachers in the USA are generally not very respected. We're called sobs. The kids don't, often don't want to listen. And the kids don't, often don't want to listen. And I tried various things and some helped. So I'd share these inspiring stories. I saw this one kid who'd heard the story multiple times and he'd never commented or complained or anything. This one kid who'd heard the story multiple times and he'd never commented or complained or anything. But I realized I needed to do something else. And it just intuitively came to me to say, I believe everyone has inner greatness. And in some of you, I'm seeing that inner greatness because I looked ready to study. And in some of you, I'm not yet seeing that inner greatness. What do you think I mean by inner greatness? And you guys, that conversation, well, it worked from high school down to kindergarten. The first time I asked that question, what do you think I mean by inner greatness, in a kindergarten class, this little 5-year-old boy raised his hand. I called on him and he said, listening. And I said,
Mm,
yes, listening is one of my favorite forms of inner greatness. And then, regardless of what they said, I would focus on the forms of inner greatness we can all have because, especially the high schoolers are like athletic achievement or whatever. Yes, those skills and abilities that we have are all forms of inner greatness, but not everyone can have the same ones. So, what are the common ones? Well, I would share my favorite forms of inner greatness, starting with being helpful and kind, because we can all have that form of inner greatness where we can be helpful and we can be kind. And in fact, we all need other people to be helpful and kind to us.
Mm.
So that's the primary primary form. And my second form that I would share is perseverance, or in school I'd say never ever giving up.
Hmm.
And I'd share the story of how I'd written and self-published 4 books, and one I'd entered in contest. It didn't win anything. And the award-winning book you mentioned earlier, at the very last minute, I got up my courage to submit it. I mean, it was literally like there was maybe 1 minute left to hit submit, and it won a silver medal. And I said I never would have won that if I'd given up.
Right, right. So there's a lot that's really fascinating about what you're saying. I just quickly, if you would, for our audience, you distinguish between energy work and soul-based work, and I think for a lot of people, they're they're interchangeable. Can you just tease this out just a little bit before we get into sort of your background in philosophy and mysticism?
Sure. I did not mean to make them different things. The spiritual life coaching is just more the talking element about the kinds of things I said, the inner is the outer reflects the inner back to us, that sort of those universal spiritual principles. And then I have 4 life coaching rules like I am statements all need to be positive. Every thought we have that's negative needs to be put in the past tense because we're telling the universe what we believe all the time by our thoughts.
Mm.
And bottom line of the universe is free will. So if we're telling the universe I am and then something like sick, or instead of I have been feeling sick, the universe goes, okay, you can be sick, or whatever. That's a simple example, but I hope you get the idea.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
think it's definitely. I think we're familiar and clear with the positive thinking
cool.
principles, but I want
Yeah.
to focus for a second on your background. Um, how does your background in philosophy and mysticism work together with your energy work and your healing and your coaching? Um, it's very interesting. I also have a PhD and do one-on-one healing work, so I'm curious to hear from you how you blend these things together and what it looks like to be Dr. Carroll's patient or a client.
Hmm. Well, um, most of the work I do now is distant healing sessions, remote healing. I do it on a platform called Luminara, luminara.care, for the most part these days. And remote healing is probably what led me to do the PhD.
Hmm.
Once I started doing distant healing sessions, the universe became this amazing place where miracles could happen at a distance. Miracles had already happened in my life in person with healings, but at a distance they could also occur. And knowing could be done at a distance. I would have higher consciousness help me know things about clients and what they needed healing for, what was going on that needed healing at a distance. Synchronicities would happen across space and time. So, in terms of the PhD, I was looking for how do we explain this? And so, for me, what was important was to integrate Eastern and Western ways of knowing the world and not just idealism, because idealism says only mind is real, and not just materialism, because you can't really get to consciousness and this amazing universe I had come to experience just through believing in matter. But the bringing in a more feminine, affirming way of viewing in philosophy, the only place I could really find this was in some forms of Hindu Tantrism, and Taoism also
Hmm.
has this balance, and then integral yoga. All 3 of those bring in the subtle energies of consciousness by some, maybe the language is different, but the subtle energies are the healing energies. And so, philosophically, understanding that the sacred masculine, often considered to be consciousness, at least in Hindu thought, and the sacred feminine as the energies of consciousness or subtle sacred energies is in harmony and balance, just like yin yang. But that this is what creates this reality, and it is real because some of the patriarchal philosophies have tried to say, and still do, this world is not real, it's an illusion. Well, that goes along with war, because if it's an illusion, it doesn't matter what we do to each other's bodies. It doesn't
Mm,
matter, or hasn't in the past mattered what we've done to women's bodies or people of
mm.
color or whatever, different people's bodies. So, philosophically, bringing in the sacred feminine in harmony and balance with the sacred masculine enables us not only to be whole inside ourselves, but to see the world as real and whole and sacred.
Wow, baby. This is so powerful to me, and I wonder if Winnie would come and talk about this for a moment, because we talk often at the Heart Center about this masculine and feminine imbalance, and you're clearly bringing this feminine um, touch, I would say. Sort of you're thinking about the feminine, but you pointed out that there's kind of a lack of feminine models out there, and I wonder if either of you could address this idea that you're making a new femininity, a new feminine role for the modern age.
So
Sorry, I know it's not a softball, this one, but it needs to be answered.
the feminine is the principle of listening, of deep receiving. Enjoy the stillness for a minute. Everything we need to know is already in the field. All the greatness is already here. We don't actually need, I'm not the expert. Okay, so let me close. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you. Yeah. So the I I actually don't feel I'm an expert in the divine feminine. And when I went to connect to the field of the divine feminine to see what is a wisdom that wants to be shared, and which is to simply listen to the silence.
Mm.
So that is what came through.
So thank you so much. And as you know, there's this there's this preference for the masculine in our society. And what I mean by this, and I'm talking here about the classic masculine versus the classic feminine, right? So what I mean by this is there's a preference for action, there's a preference for thinking about it, there's a preference for doing something, and we have a hard time as a society, at least in my observation. Maybe you disagree. I'd love to hear from you, Dr. Richardson. Uh, we have a hard time sitting with silence. And also, we have a hard time with feminine power. We're really strong. We really prefer, I think, consciousness. We prefer masculine power. Feminine power is more unpredictable and more difficult to contain. So I wonder what your thoughts on this are, Dr. Richardson. Of course, these are just feelings that come up. I'm not saying that this is any absolute truth, just to be clear. But this is, in my experience, how things get reflected back to me. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I think I may take it a little bit of a different direction.
Okay.
As part of my dissertation, and my dissertation, by the way, was on universal consciousness and the quantum vacuum as an interconnected reality. And I focused on the no thingness,
Mm,
emptiness, or no thingness of both consciousness and the quantum vacuum that
fascinating.
nonetheless give rise to all that exists. So I, as part of my dissertation, I did an online research survey on people's ability to feel excitement in the air, tension in the air, anger, anxiety, or love emanating from someone else. And out of 111 people, 96.4% of people said yes, they'd felt excitement in the air, like at a ball game or a musical concert, or tension in the air when people got into conflict. And it was lower for anger or anxiety coming off of someone else, and
Mm,
it was, which is 90%, and then about 92.8%, I think, for having felt love. And only two people said they hadn't felt love. But one of the people who said no does weddings on the side of her work, and she went on and on about energies at weddings. And she said at some weddings, romance and love are palpable. Meaning romance and love can be palpable in the air. So all of these energies in the air, and there are two main points I'd like to make here. One, if they were physical energies in a crowd at a ball game stadium, auditorium, if I blew on the cheek of someone next to me, they would feel that. But these are not physical energies. These are subtle energies. And so when you talk about it, they're difficult to manage or whatever. I'd like to say they're more difficult to tune into for some people.
mm,
And
mhm,
as a matter of fact, the answers included yes, no, or maybe. The majority of the maybe answers were given by men. That nearly one-fourth of men gave a maybe answer somewhere in there in those four questions, and only fewer than 1/15 of women gave maybe answers.
mm.
And what I'd like to say is men have been taught to shut down, repress, tune out their feelings.
Yes.
Although when I said this in front of one of my professors on my dissertation committee, he said, well, men are allowed to feel lust and anger. Well, great. Someone said to me today, well, the power over feelings, oh, that's not helpful to us, right? Um, but to think about that difference, how are men suffering because they're not allowed to tune into their own feelings? And a lot
Mm,
of women, that's for us, true for us as well. One of the women helpfully articulated that when she's in her head, she couldn't tell whether or not she was feeling the feelings. But when she got into her body, she knew her body was feeling the sensations. So I'd like to invite us when you lead spiritual practices to feel the very real sensation of love and peace and that beautiful calmness and quietness in the silence.
mm.
Because when we're feeling that, we're truly feeling the sacred. We're feeling the sacred feminine, and when our consciousness quiets, we're at our highest self in terms of the sacred masculine aspects of consciousness as well. The love, peace, bliss.
That's such a
Thank you.
beautiful lead in to our next segment. Thank you so much, Dr. Richardson. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. And I wonder, before we get into a practice, if there's anyone online who would like to ask a question or anyone has a comment, anything anybody found particularly um, stimulating or something that they'd like to ask Dr. Richardson about. Anyone have a question? Winnie?
There's a sentence, one person's truth is another person lie is another person's truth. Can you elaborate on that?
You want me to or Dr. Richardson? Yes. So if you didn't hear Winnie's question, there's a statement, one person's truth is another person's lie. And Winnie would like you to elaborate on that.
the politics of spirituality and how one person's lie is another one's truth. It comes from the fact that in August 2016, as an older American, I was looking at the two political presidential campaigns, and I saw that this group's truth looked like a lie to this group, and vice versa. And I was like, wow, I've never seen this before. I literally prayed, how do we explain that one person's truth is another one's lie? And I just kept praying and writing. And what came to me and through me is an integrative model of psycho-spiritual development through the chakra system. And for each chakra, there's a worldview. So if you think about us psycho-spiritually developing from lifetime to lifetime, we're going to have different worldviews in each of the chakras. So like the root chakra is very much an indigenous, we're all one family, one tribe, one with the earth, that kind of healthy balance of the sacred feminine and sacred masculine. But when we get to the sacral chakra, then there's that split between the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, and we get duality. Duality comes into play, and that brings a sense of right and wrong and very literal translations of sacred texts, and we start getting into trouble there. And the teenage chakra is the solar plexus, where we want to think our way, value our way, and that's fine unless we then don't want somebody else to act their way, because that interferes with our way, and it's the sort of drama, chakra times. The heart chakra, where we begin to heal and really elevate our spirituality. And for the first 6 chakras, there's the sacred masculine, sacred feminine. Well, if we're only energizing the sacred feminine, we're only going to see some kinds of truths. And if we're only energizing the sacred masculine, we shut down our feelings and only see some kinds of truth because we can't empathize. And the third dimension is love or fear. If we're coming from fear, everything's going to seem like a threat. Everyone and everything will feel like a threat if we're coming from fear. Our amygdala does that for us. Our amygdala, if we're feeling fear, causes us to perceive everything as a threat. If we come from love, we begin to lean into the oneness of everyone, and truth becomes this expansive interconnection in love and kindness and wisdom.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
it really resonates, and I just want to pause for a moment there before I pass to Winnie for everyone to absorb, which is this fact that we all have within us yin and yang, masculine and feminine, and that it's important that we all balance this, and that the spiritual journey, as Dr. Richardson's pointed out, and as many gurus and others have pointed out, that the job that we're engaged in our spiritual practice is joining our yin and yang as one. So of course these masculine and feminine energies are balanced in each of us. So when we're talking about the feminine and we're talking about the masculine, it doesn't necessarily mean a man or a woman. But of course, in our society, we have a particular view of masculinity and femininity. Speaking of balance and the feminine, Winnie, I wonder if you would come on at this point and lead us in a practice.
Okay, great. So everyone, thank you, Carol. So everyone, if you can close your eyes, and let's just get in our bodies and just check in. What's showing up in the field right here, right now? So what really rings true to me is, in a world where there's so much war and division, how can I stay in integrity, in my truth, and also stay in the most profound listening? of the world's suffering. So I'd like to take us on a journey. We're going to start from some really deep inner work. And what's coming up is the throat chakra, the energy where we speak the truth. So we're going to just say the word Tao. And each time you say this word, maybe you notice a little relaxation of a tendon. Maybe you notice your toes instead of, how do you call this? Clenched. You feel your toes unclench. Maybe you feel like your chest is like really tight and you can't breathe, and maybe you feel a little relaxing. And feel free to get up and dance and move your body however it wants. So we're just gonna say, you can chant Tao loudly or you can chant Tao softly. But let's go on an exploratory journey with what does Tao feel like in your body in this moment? And let's begin. Tao, 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 So let me know if anyone wants to share their experience of what just chanting Tao, being Tao, moving with Tao feel like in your body. Anybody wants to share? All right, Chloe has a mic. Chloe, you requested more dancing, so I did it for you. Hello, everybody. So that was really fun. First of all, I just want to say, like, I felt an expansion of just movement. Like, for the most part, you know, when you're going around your day and just kind of like not really thinking, it's just really stiff. But like being and embodying the Tao, it's so fluid. It's like your body intuitively knows like where you need to give yourself a little bit of, not even a little, like a lot, like as much as you need. There's no need to hold back. It's just like all the dancing, like, you know, if you need to do a funny little wiggle or just like really tune in and slow down and like roll, like that is like, that is so wonderful. That just saying Tao and really sinking into that, how much like relief I feel right here now. So I'm so grateful, and I hope y'all also had a really good experience just being and moving with the Tao. So thank you so much, Winnie. Thank you. Thank you, Chloe. Yeah, I just want to say I've never led that exercise before, and I just feel like Tao has no name, no shape. There's nothing I can teach you about Tao other than whatever your expression of the Tao is perfect. All right, Jay, you wanted to share your experience, or Helen, anybody wants, you want to share?
Sure. I just want to say two things. One, first, I also felt very expansive as I was doing it. But I want to say that I've also noticed that different people have different ways of feeling into the Tao. Of course, the Tao is everything, right? So you could potentially feel anything. But when we evoke the Tao like this, some people have very vertical channels and they get very still or very excited. And some people have more horizontal, kind of expansive channels. So, like Chloe or I, they feel like as we evoke the Tao, I feel my field getting bigger. I feel actually expansion. But I just want to make it clear to everyone that if you didn't feel that way, but you felt another way, that's perfect. Perfect. We all have different channels and we all feel differently. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you, Winnie.
Helen, you want to share?
Hi, Winnie. Love you guys so much. I'm so grateful to see you. I feel a change in me. Like I just feel more energy in myself, more self-love. And I have been exercising more and taking care of myself more. And, you know, doing that Tao movement, I just felt like more free and very healing in some way because I had just done a workout and I felt like I did something with my neck when I'm doing planks. Thanks, Veronica. Love you. And I just feel that doing the Tao movement, it was like not only healing, but also freeing. And also, in a way, for me to just connect to my true self, you know, and be able to do whatever my soul guides me to do. And it was just, it really shows how powerful the Tao and movement is. It's, you know, in connection to alignment with one, you know, to Mother Earth, to Tao, Source, Divine, countless planets, stars, galaxies, universes, you know, we're all one. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I love the experience. Thank you.
Perfect. So that is a perfect segue into experiencing the Tao calligraphy light wall breathing. So if the team can bring up the wall. The Tao cannot be seen and cannot be touched. There's nothing I can share about it other than it is the ultimate source and creator. Truly, you can't really put a name on it. So my teacher, Dr. and Master Jigong Sha, he's a Western medicine trained in China, traditional Chinese medicine trained in Canada, and now a world-renowned healer. And I remember manifesting him because I know that, as Carol described, there are people that can magically heal from cancer and whatnot. And then I am in the world where I study years and memorizing medical textbook. And I really want to manifest a teacher who can be the bridge between the scientific world and the spiritual world. And so when I met Master Sha, at that time, I had a severe addiction for 3.5 years. He bopped me in the head one time with his spiritual instrument. The very next day, I went cold turkey on an addiction that I worked really hard to get rid of, but I could not because I didn't love myself enough to say no to self-harm, self-abuse. So what he did was he did a blessing with the Da I calligraphy. Da I is the greatest love. So what is so special about calligraphy is that the calligraphy is a portal that can live stream the source most positive information, energy, and matter. So when he connected to the calligraphy and brought that into my being, all of the I'm not worthy, I feel dirty, I feel fat, stupid, all of these negative information was washed with the source highest frequency of the 10 greatest attributes, which is the greatest love, melts all blockages, the greatest forgiveness, brings inner peace and inner joy, the greatest compassion, boosts energy, stamina, vitality, and immunity, the greatest light, transform all life, the greatest humility, heals and prevents the ego. Now, I do want to take a pause on this one because when I first heard this, I used to get triggered. What do you mean heal and prevent the ego? It's not like the ego is. I really got triggered by the sentence, ego is the biggest enemy. See, at that time, I didn't understand. Have you ever had the experience where one person's talking, another person's talking, but they're not listening to each other? So I used to do this. Why? Because you're there talking, blah, 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 blah. And I'm having my own conversation with myself, blah, 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 blah. So I see your lips are moving, but I actually, none of the words that you're saying came over here. I'm like, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. But actually, I didn't hear anything. So what I realized is how inefficient communication was because I couldn't silence. I couldn't be in stillness. You know, what is the point of communication? The point of communication is to connect heart to heart. is to really deeply listen and receive the love from the other person. And that's why this week I actually had a really big breakthrough on the greatest humility. And I want to share this one secret with everybody because it totally transformed my listening. And what I did was, whatever was happening around me, I asked my ego this question: do you have a conversation about this? 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 Now, I want you to write this down and come back next week and tell me what happened to you when you asked the question, do I have something to say about this? Here's what I realized. If I have something to say about it, I'm in the past. I'm in judgment. I don't want to be in the business of judging you, and I definitely don't want to be in the business of judging me. And it was really, really a fun exercise with curiosity. Do I have something to say about this? And every time I ask this question, it instantly drops me into the stillness. No, I don't have anything to say about it. So let me continue. So the sixth calligraphy is the greatest harmony. It is the key for success. The seventh is the greatest flourishing. It gives us the more resources to serve. What is the most precious resource, everybody?
Love.
Jay says love. Okay, it's true. What I find as the most precious is the time, the presence. When I am willing to put down what I have to say about something, it was like I can make time. You know, it's like the expression, you can make love. Can you imagine that we can make time? We make time simply by dropping, letting go of the me thinking. Then number 8 is the greatest gratitude. The greatest gratitude is the key for progress. So really smart as everything happens, I'm so grateful. And it keeps the ball rolling, and I manifest better luck and better luck and better luck. Number 9 is the greatest service. The purpose of all of our lives is to, as Carol says, awaken our inner greatness. Because all of you are Tao and all of you are great. It's not like I said, okay, step number 1, do this. Step number 2, do this. Step number 3, do this. No, you're already great. So it's not about making you great. It's about how can I uplift myself to the highest possible expression of Tao. Because in my field, if one person is awakened, then all of us are awakened. If one person feels enlightened, then all of us are enlightened. And that brings us to number 10, which is enlightenment is the ultimate achievement. So who would like to be a demo? Oh, Ron.
Well, that's what I got.
Okay. Ron, are you available to be a demo?
Is he coming on? He says no.
Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. Anyone wants to be a demo? Amanda or Jeannie, our newer friends, do you guys want to come on and be a demo?
I'm new here. I'm not sure what being a demo means in this case. It means something.
Okay, well, let's do it. Dr. Carol, do you currently have any pain anywhere in the body, like neck pain, lower back pain, or any challenges in your physical, emotional, mental bodies?
For a long time, and when I sit meditation stuff and T6 once, and they're hurting a little bit. So
Got it. Okay, perfect. The knee, is it the left knee or the right knee?
both.
Both. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel right now?
Well, if I straighten them out to check on them, they feel about a 5 out of 10.
About a 5 out of 10. Okay, perfect. All right.
Pain, yeah.
So if the team can make sure I have the calligraphy in the back.
You do? All 10? Is it not? You can maybe. There, it's behind.
No, I see the law of Shunchijin.
Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to this episode of Heart Center Connection.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this exercise is very easy. We're gonna do this breathing called Shi Qing Hu Zuo. So Shi means inhale, and you're gonna hear me count to 5. Qing means the source most positive frequency. So you're gonna visualize golden light coming from the calligraphy to bless your knee, and also the back that you described, because those two are linked. And then Hu means exhale. Zhuo means turbid. So you can visualize dark gray smoke coming out of your knees. So let me open the field. Okay, the field is open. So let's inhale from the 10 dot calligraphies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, we'll chant heal me. Heal me. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Heal me. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Heal me. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Heal me. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Heal me. And then let's do a little movement to open the back of the heart. Now, if this exercise is too strenuous because you have the compressed T5, then feel free to skip it. But the wisdom I learned from the yoga room is if one person is doing handstand, then all of us are in the vibration of handstand. So even if you don't move, but I move, then we're still moving the energy at the T5. So take it easy if you can't do it. And the movement we're going to do is we're going to gently rock the hand. So one hand give love to the world and receive love, and then the other hand give love and receive love. So if this is strenuous, then just skip it. But otherwise, the rest of us who are healthy will do this for beloved Carol. So really feel the yin yang alteration, right? I take turn giving and receiving love, and feel the balance of giving and receiving. And we're going to chant the mantra for the heart, which is Ah. So we're going to inhale the 10 Da light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant Ah. Ah. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Ah. One last time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Ah. And now put one hand over the other over the heart. So the T5 is roughly at the heart level. Let's just send love to the back. So we're about 50% open. So let's do a mantra. Greatest love, build a spiritual home in my heart. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Greatest love builds a spiritual home in my heart. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Greatest love builds a spiritual home in my heart. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Greatest love builds a spiritual home in my heart. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Greatest love builds a spiritual home in my heart. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Greatest love builds a spiritual home in my heart. Okay, this next part, I don't know if the tech team can show me sitting in a chair. Can you provide this chair? Okay, this next thing along the side of the leg, and we're gonna move down. until we see the knees again. So we're gonna start from the gluteal region, and then we're gonna tap, tap, tap towards the knee. I'm gonna start from here. I'm gonna tap, tap, tap towards the knee. Tap, tap, tap. And bring it towards the knee. And we're going to chant this mantra. It's greatest love, lights, and inner fire. Greatest love, lights, and inner fire. So the wisdom is that the knees are about feelings. The gallbladder meridian, when it's healthy, it's courage. So it's really about the courage to come fully out of our closets. Now, I don't know about you, but as a girl with many science degrees, sometimes it's interesting to come fully out of the spiritual closet. Because I don't know how my parents, my kids, my colleagues, how they're gonna see me, judge me, talk to me. What's gonna happen if I just unapologetically come out as the most spiritual? A Chinese name for GB31 is about wind. A lot of people have tight IT band, and we're just very tight here. So we're gonna chant greatest love, lights, inner fire. So we're gonna literally light a fire in our gallbladder meridian, so that we have the courage to support ourselves. Okay, let's do it. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chant. Greatest love, lights, and inner fire. Don't worry to tap really hard. You know, nothing really bad will happen to you. You might get a little color, but in Chinese medicine, it's good because it's like the stagnant blood, or it's coming to the surface. So even if you get a little interesting color after, it's good for you. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chant. Greatest love, lights, and inner fire. Okay, one more time. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Greatest love, lights, and inner fire. And just give it some rubbing, massage. Yeah. Like you're playing guitar on your IT band. Okay. And just take a moment of stillness, integrating all the work we did, opening the back of the heart and opening the gallbladder meridian. How? And so, our dear beloved Carol, can you let us know how's your knee feeling? How's the back of the T5 feeling?
My knees feel pretty good, thank you. My back is feeling better. There's something just left of the spine. I think it's a way it was moving the last few days that's still there, but the center of the spine feels better. Thank you.
Okay, so for the knee, from a scale of 1 to 10, how is it now?
Well, as I move, there's a little, just a touch of just like a 1. Level 1 in the left kneecap.
Okay.
Other
All
than
right.
that, they're
So the knee pain
pretty
went
great.
from 5 to 1, and there's a little tiny remaining. So for that, let me check guidance. Let me. So I am getting something for compassion. And so the wisdom of compassion is that compassion increases our willpower and manifestation power. And this is Master Sha's teaching, which is when you forget a little, you have a little healing power. When you forgive a lot, forget about yourself a lot, then you have a lot of healing power. When you totally forget yourself, then you have infinite power. Now, I'm not, suggesting anyone to do it, but if you want to let go of that remaining fraction of one in the knee, if you want to let go of that remaining one fraction at the T5, then it involves forgetting yourself a little more or totally. So let's do this. If you feel aligned, I invite you to do this. So this meditation is to imagine that we have no name. We're not a man, not a woman. No Chinese, no American. No title of doctor. No label as a teacher, as a student. No concept. So what is going to really help is this movement of, and don't do it if it causes you pain, but lifting your, I'm going to do sideways, lifting your heel up and down, then lifting your heel up and down, lifting the heel up and down, lifting the heel up and down. And what this does, it's like reflexology. It massages all the meridians that feed and in this case especially the urinary bladder channel. So the urinary bladder channel feeds the back of the knee, and it's also the back, it runs in the back on either side of the T5. So when you do this simple exercise, it will open, and don't stress yourself too much, but gently explore. But this motion opens the urinary bladder channel and is greatly beneficial to the back of the heart and the back of the knee. And maybe we'll chant Kong. Kong means emptiness. Okay, so everybody can join in. Goes inner rotation and a little outer rotation, and then switch sides. Just discover this little movement. The AV team, if you can please show my you'll discover I'm wearing little socks with red stripes. I didn't think that I'll be showing my but what you want to do is do a little internal rotation and do a little external rotation. Okay, so what this does is it brings fluidity and balance. So the wisdom is that the inner thigh has the yin meridian, right? So the yin meridian is the liver, kidney, and spleen, and then the outer leg has the gallbladder, stomach, and urinary bladder channel. So when we do this, we're literally balancing the yin and yang. So if you do it 3 times inner rotation, do 3 times outer rotation. Just kind of keep count so that you can keep everything in balance. So I like to draw 3 circles out, 3 circles in, 3 circles out, 3 circles in, and we'll continue chanting Kong. 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 Calm. And just a moment integrating the knees. I actually feel all the way up to my crown. This is so stimulating. This is a wonderful exercise. And isn't it so simple also? How? Okay, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Carol, how do you feel right now in your knee and your back?
I feel pretty good. Maybe just a slight twinge to the left of the spine in the back, but that's okay.
So you can continue to do this exercise.
Yes, thank you so much.
It will be great. And Jay, you have final announcements?
Sure.
Okay, let me officially close the 10-dot wall field. So how, thank you, love you. Okay.
With Pastor Peter at an event on Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. That is next Wednesday. So at our regular time, you can join us online, or if you're in Los Angeles, come join us in person. A few people did that last time and really enjoyed themselves. It was really great.
But tell us the theme and why it's like it's.
Oh yes, of course. So this, of course, is St. Patrick's. This is the month where we have St. Patrick's Day, and the theme of next week's podcast is Actions Manifest Luck. So, and Pastor Peter will have a Bible reading, and I'm sure Winnie and Pastor Peter always have this great rapport and make jokes between them, and I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun, and we would love for you to join us. Again, you can join us live, or you can join us online as you normally do at our normal time. If you're coming in person, join us at 6 p.m. Bring some food, and we'll sit down. We'll have dinner. You get to talk to us in person, and then we'll have the podcast live from the Awareness Center.
Wait, there's one really important thing that I want to bring back to something Carol shared, which is, so it's called Action Manifest Luck. And why this is important, can you hold it? Is because, when we ask her to share what inner greatness is, the first point is helpful and kind. The second point is to not give up, to be persistent, to keep it going. So this whole thing is dedicated to taking action and not give up and keep going. And why this is important is because if you want to manifest luck, what she calls energy virtue is you keep being helpful, keep being kind, and you do it again and again and again and again, and kind things manifest kind things. So that is the secret. Okay, and then because we're so kind and helpful, March 15, we have a free community harmony acupuncture clinic. It's going to feature sound bath, acupuncture, meditation, and aromatherapy. So team can drop this into the chat.
And in case that's not enough activity for you this month, March 21st on Saturday in the morning, we will have our third monthly men's walk in Cherry Canyon and La Cañada, Flint Ridge. So if you are local to us, I'm talking to you, Ron. If you're local and you're a man and you would like to join us for a men's walk, please join us at 8 a.m. At Cherry Canyon. And you can text me for details, or you can shoot this QR code right here on the screen, and it will lead you there. Okay? You can find it also at meetup.com/weedlovectc. And that is all for this week's broadcast. Again, you can join us here next week at the same time for Heart Center Connection. And next week, we'll be joining you live from the Awareness Center with our very own Pastor Peter and our quirky, fun, enjoyable show with translation and live audience. So join us for that. You can't miss it. Actions manifest luck.